planning is absolutely essential. It's very good for us, and whilst we may not think that in our private lives we should do that, and we're quite okay when we go to our corporate lives and we do it, but it has to happen in our private. Who should plan? Is it only our sponsors? Is it only Ocran and Ocran who should plan? Or is it plain me standing here? Plain you sitting there? All of us should plan. Especially if you have big dreams. But even the small dreams require planning. Because really, the idea you have is not yours alone. Other people have similar ideas. And if you really want to be at the cutting edge, you need to plan. When do you start planning? As soon as you have a dream. As soon as you have a dream. As soon as you aspire to be something. Some people will say, as soon as you become conscious of your life, you should start planning. And I agree, because if we don't start planning early, we find ourselves really caught in the middle of nowhere. You know, a lot of us are like that. Those of us in second cycle institutions. Some of you, because you don't really have any dreams and goals, you even think that the subjects you have been given will amount to nothing. Don't you? And you have already become disillusioned. But when it comes to learning, nothing is useless. And if you have a goal, if you have a vision, if you have a dream, you can still accomplish these in spite of not getting the subjects you were looking for. Because at your next stage of education, you can get all that you're looking for. So if you don't plan a career path before entering the university, all the volunteering you will do, all the internships and so on will amount to nothing. And the reverse is the same. If you plan, then you will have the right relationships, including attending this forum. What happens if you fail to plan for the future? There's this rather hackneyed phrase: when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But there will be more failures if you fail to plan. Money is important because it enables you to do things, but money should not be an obsession. And that's why I'm glad, is it Bond and other people are telling us, you know, we don't have to have lots of money to save. Whatever little we have, we need to save. And it will get us very, very far. In fact, this country is suffering so much because we don't save. We don't save. That's why we are where we are. And then intellectually, I did say personal development. You may not get up to the PhD level if you want to find, but choose some intellectual pursuits that will enhance the vision you have, the attainment of the vision. You will have to get involved. We are a country of so much mediocrity because we are not stimulating the intellect that we've been given. We need to plan. We need to set goals. We need to achieve our goals. Each of us has to be an individual that is driven to achieve. Whatever small thing, whatever big thing, whatever huge thing, but be driven to achieve. And your achievement must have excellence. Your achievement must be undergirded by integrity. Your achievement must touch other people's lives for good, which means no selfishness, No self-centered ambitions. Whatever we want to do must touch other people's lives for good. When we do that, there's a lot of joy in our own lives. This joy becomes contagious. We're useful citizens, and other people benefit.
Somebody must be ready to fight. Whether it's in publishing, in politics, sociology, academia, telecoms, I want hungry, restless, angry Ghanaian executives who want to fight and take over this continent. I am determined, and there is fire in my eyes. I want fire. I need fire. Listen, we can't go hobnobbing and begging and casually walking as if there's nothing at stake. Every morning we must wake up as if we are ready. And it's not just wishful thinking. Please, I'm a pastor. It's not just prayer. Beyond the prayer, we need to fight. We need to have a clear plan and fight daily till we get there. Let your anger and your restlessness lead you to think, and you will find something. Anyone who finds a solution to a problem in Africa will be rich. Anyone. A continent that is poor, that has a big population, that has needs, there is money here. I don't know who I'm speaking to today, but I'm certain about one thing. If we all live here angry and restless and determined to be continental icons, 10 years from now, when we are looking for resource persons for Springboard, either the road show or the radio show, there will be so much choice that we won't even know who to call, because you'll be the same ones on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera. Your story will be on the front page of Time magazine. May that be your story. May that be your testimony. May you be the one that will be celebrating as the big African icon 10 years from now. Thank you. And God.
The people who succeed in life are not only those who are able to follow the steps neatly, and sometimes the rules don't change and you can follow your steps, but the people who really succeed are those who are able to adapt very quickly to the new changes happening around them. So one of the things I want to encourage all the young people here is, you must be very quick to understand when changes happen around you. Be very quick to understand it. And don't complain against a change you cannot unchange. There are changes you can do something about. You can change them back. Yes, you can complain and do something about them, but there are changes you can't do anything about. If you are a student and the cedi is depreciating, you can't do anything about it. What are you going to do? You are in Form 3. So but the cedi is depreciating. You can't do anything about it. Even most of us adults cannot do anything about it. You can't stop that change from happening because the factors are way bigger than you. But you have to learn to adapt. If there is any skill I am going to encourage you to develop in the next 10 years as you plan your life, is the ability to think quickly when change happens. The ability to think quickly when change happens. The ability to re-strategize when change happens. The ability to still keep your objective in focus when change happens. We want the rules to always be the same. And when the rules change, we complain, the rules have changed. Why did they change it? Why did they change the rules? The rules should be, you should bring back the rules. 10 years after the rules have changed. You know, the rules used to be this way 10 years ago. They've changed it. They should bring back the rules. They should bring back the rules. We have to protest. They should bring back the rules. 20 years. The rules used to, 20 years ago, this is how we used to do it. The rules have to be the same. 50 years. The rules, you remember 50 years ago, the rules were like this. They change it, they have to bring it back. And it never strikes us, it's not coming back. It never strikes us. So, most African leaders, up until recent, maybe now it's changed, but they spend their time talking about, and we were there, and the British came, and the colonizers were there, and the colonizers, and they changed the rules, and they took our money, and they took our gold, and they took our... Yes, the rules changed. The rules changed. People didn't allow us to live in our country. Yes, they colonized us. Yes. But we have to play the game. And sometimes in trying to play the game, we always want to go backwards into what we comfortably call culture. This is our culture. This is how we were before the white man messed us up. This is how we used to eat before the white man came and messed us up. This is how we used to dress before they messed us up. This is how we used to manage our life. By the way, they've messed you up. Now, you cannot go back to 1844 and change the rules because it's changed. And the reason, one of the biggest reasons why we are not able to play the game with the rest of the world is when the game, the rules change and the configuration changes, we spend the rest of our time complaining about the change which has happened and never studying how to play the new game. I said, be careful what you call African. Be careful what you call African. I am an Africanist. Very, very Africanist. But you have to be very careful what you call African. Because Africa in 2017 is not Africa in 1717. So I cannot say the Africa of 1717 has to be the same Africa of 2017. And I cited the example, for example, of the way people eat. You know, people, you give people kenke and fish, they say, I have to go African. That means I have to eat with my fingers. Now, whoever told you that eating with fingers is African? Who told you that? Eating with fingers is simply an antiquated, unhygienic way of eating. That's all. The British used to eat with their fingers. The Romans used to eat with their fingers. The Greeks used to eat with their fingers. The Japanese used to eat with their fingers. The Chinese used to eat with their fingers. After some time, they realized the finger gets too dirty. So now let's get utensils to be extension of our fingers. Some use chopsticks, some use steel or, is it steel? Stainless steel. So that they can clean it properly. Dirt doesn't stick on it to eat their food. Now we say no. Everybody has moved, but we are committed. The game has changed, but we will play it our way.
If you set yourself an objective, you believe in your ability to accomplish that objective, and you persevere, you will beat the odds. Two, do not sabotage yourself with low expectations. The other lesson in my mother's story is that she did not allow the illiteracy in her own family to limit her. She could so easily have resigned herself
to following in her own mother's footsteps to become a trader. But she wanted something more for herself. And I found that I was growing up, her only daughter. Her and my dad's expectations for me were just as wide and high as their expectations for my 6 brothers. I say wide and high because their expectations were both horizontal and vertical. All of us, me and my brothers, had to learn how to cook, how to clean and wash and iron and weed, and study hard and go to the university and make something of ourselves. So on that journey to 2027, my advice is not to limit yourself with low expectations. Think big and climb high. Acquire broad knowledge as you go along. Do not have a tunnel vision, solely focused on your particular job. Learn about your industry, your company, what makes everything work, how your responsibilities fit in the bigger picture, what others are doing, what your customer really needs. Progress on the corporate ladder requires a good understanding of the entire business. Whether you are a payroll clerk, a systems engineer, a junior or senior lawyer, a customer rep, a retail specialist, a seamstress, a designer, an electrician, a data analyst, cast your net wide. You must first demonstrate that you, in fact, have the capability to be a senior manager. It is not enough to be an excellent manager. You must extend beyond that to acting like a senior manager, like a general manager, like an executive, before you actually become one. People want assurance that you can in fact do the job before they give you the job. Overachieving in your current role also means seeing the bigger picture, being proactive in volunteering for additional projects, doing well, sharing your ideas, and being an active participant on cross-functional committees. It is one of the ways you network and encounter people you may otherwise never have encountered, who may remember how well you executed a certain project and recommend you when a slot opens. A key lesson my parents drummed in me and my brothers was the importance of spending only what you can afford to and saving for a rainy day. In the journey of the next decade, always save some of the money you earn. Financial advisors will tell you, pay yourself first, meaning you must set money aside for the future before you spend the rest. It is never too early to start saving. As a wise mentor told me many years ago, the time you cannot afford to save is actually the time you cannot afford to not save. Living within your means and saving also helps keep you honest and out of trouble.